here to talk. These are just my opinions. This is just what I've telling the closest people around me, but I just want to get out here and say it. To get people thinking, and I mean thinking now, today, this moment. You might want to think about, if you have money in the bank, you have funds in the bank, moving it, getting it out of there. Especially, I mean, if you have cash, if you have cash, it can't be taken from you. Yes, they can take the purchasing power away from it, but you cannot be frozen out. You can't be, locked out. They can't put a freeze on bank accounts for a day or a week or a month or 2 months, whatever. I feel it's going to happen. This is just my gut. Seeing everything else, this is my reaction to seeing everything else going on. And especially with the stuff that was written in 2011, how they changed banking as we know it. The stuff that's in the bank is no longer seen as yours. It's seen as it's the bank's. I know I've said this before many times, but think of it as if you have $2,000 that a buddy of yours wants to borrow, and you loan it to him, $2,000, and then you have stipulations when he'll pay it back, whatever. But let's say you'll have it paid back, in 6 months or a year. Let's say it's a year. $2,000 paid back in a year. Well, within that time, he has it. He can spend it on whatever he wants to because you have loaned that to him, given that to him. What are you going to say? He has gotten that from you. It's no longer your money. You might say, yes, I know I owe you. You might say, yes, you owe me. And there might be that back and forth, but all in all, it is now his. He has control of what he spends it on, what he uses it for, if he spends it on stuff that you absolutely despise and hate, whether it's a political thing or whether it's something else. You can't stand it, but he spends his money on that because that's what he wants or she wants. You have no control of it because it is not your money anymore. It's the same sense. So if he owes you that within a year, and let's say 9 months down the road you guys have a falling out, and that's it, the friendship's over, no longer talking, nothing to do with one another, and you've gotten $1,000 back by that time, let's say. That other $1,000 is gone. It's not coming back ever. And that relationship that was severed. And that's the same sort of thing that can happen with these banks now. Not only is the money in there not considered yours, it's considered theirs. So if they go under, or they're falling under, or they get in a bankruptcy kind of vibe, they can use whatever they have there that are in other people's accounts, in other accounts that they have there in other people's names, which is still in the banks. They can use that for whatever they need to make themselves whole. They don't have to pay that back. That's theirs. That's how it's viewed as. That's how the law was changed in 2011. So think about that. And I know, well, there's insurance, FDIC, that kind of stuff, but really. Now, if you have an issue and you need to get your money, your funds, because of whatever, yes, eventually you'll get that back. But if you and, let's say, 10,000 other people have the same sort of issue, do you think that's coming back if they have a ton of money in the banks? Do you think they're getting it back? Where does FDIC get the money from? It's federal. Where does anything federal get their money from? Where does anything government get the money from? They have no money. They have no funds. They have nothing anywhere. All they have is the ability of force to steal from you and I. So the only thing that they're giving to anyone is what they've stolen from you and I, or what they're going to steal from you and I. Whether that's from inflation, making more money, more digits, printing more money, that's the way they're stealing from our purchasing power. Then they're going to give it away to whoever they deem fit, or whoever might have been shorthanded in the bank through that FDIC insured thing. But if it's 10,000 people, that ain't happening. It's not happening. If it's 100,000 people, it's not happening. I mean, it is what it is. It's a security blanket that's not there. It's to make people think, okay, I feel comfortable working with this bank because they're insured, they're protected. My money that I'm putting in here is protected. That's what you're thinking. Once it's in there, it's no longer yours. It's not yours. It's not yours. It's not yours. Under the law, it is seen as the bank's. They have control of it. They can do what they want with it as long as it's there. Period. That's it. So why am I saying this? I'm saying this because I don't mean to cause a run on the banks, but it is what it is. If that happens, that happens. It just means people are waking up, really. So what can you do? Well, I'm not giving advice. I can give some ideas and some options of what I've done and we've done. Like I've always said here, you pull it and you keep some cash. You always want some cash. I mean, that's what we've always do, because right now everyone's accepting cash still. There'll be a time when that's over. It's done with. No one wants it. I mean, they won't even want it for, scrap paper. Really, it's useless. But as of now, you still need it to pay your government bills, your taxes, to go buy, food, whatever. It's still the main thing that's accepted. That will soon change, especially with this whole SDR poll, special drawing rights thing that just happened. I think it was Monday. It was talked last week, but I think Monday. We are August 10th right now, 2021. So with that, SDR will be the main overall seen thing as of this is your main go-to currency, like US dollar has been treated for years and years and years. So what's going to happen then? Well, that will make the dollar lose a lot of its edge, a lot of its pull, a lot of its power, but also all this endless printing, all this endless money creation. I mean, no one's really felt inflation yet. No one's really seen prices rise yet. I mean, there are, but no one's really felt what is going to happen when all this comes rushing in, and really to try to correct all these wrongs that have been done at the Federal Reserve. When that happens, I mean, it's something. It makes the Great Depression look like a cakewalk. Seriously, it's my opinion, but that's I feel that's what it's going to be. Just like the Great Depression was nothing, just a blip, nothing really to even write about, because this is compared to it. This is just gonna, wear its crown. Granted, it's gonna wear its crown. Anyways, so I'm just saying this because I feel that money. If you don't have a lot of funds, you got to do what you got to do. To get by, and understand that. If you don't have any means to invest in any assets, anything. Really, my opinion. If you have nothing and you're scrounging and getting by, you got to do what you got to do. Like I said, but I would focus on trying to learn another skill, trying to scrounge together to at least buy 1 ounce of silver to start. Everything starts with one. You can't get a huge collection, a huge stack, a huge whatever without starting with one. Everything starts with one. It doesn't matter how many you want to have, or how much of a collection or a bulk insurance you want to have. It all starts with one. So keep that in mind. I can do another video on silver and gold and that kind of stuff, and I probably will. But if there's that, learning a skill, and with the internet right now, free, for the most part, you can learn a lot. If you don't have the time, make the time. That's what I tell people. A lot of people say to me, "Well, I don't have the time for this or that." Make the time. If you have the time for those things you're doing, where'd that come from? Did it just appear here and say, "Hey, here's the time that you can spend doing this"? No, you made the time. So if it's important to you, make the time. Prioritize. That's what it is. That's what I tell people. Make the time. It doesn't just fall in your lap. So don't tell me you don't have the time. No, make the time. Then you'll have the time. Anyways, that's not what this was about. This was about the bank. And on that note, it also goes with 401k. And if you're stuck with your job, and that kind of stuff, and your 401k, there's not a lot you can do. You can change the investments on it. So it's a little better, and say better lately, but I mean, look into that. Definitely look into that. I would. If you are no longer working there and you have a 401k through there, you can take and transfer that into an IRA. Then you control. If you had a traditional 401k, you can transfer that into a Roth IRA if you qualify, and it's really easy. It's not like you have to be dirt poor to qualify. You can be very, very good to go, good to do to qualify in a lot of circumstances. So you can do that, and then you'll pay the taxes right there. So I'm just saying this, just think of it. And I know right now it's something's right here. It's about ready to erupt. It feels like the volcano. It's been sitting there forever dormant. But sometime it's not going to be dormant. And I feel we're at that point where there's no capping it, no stopping it. So you got to do what you got to do to prevent yourself by being harmed, or try to help yourself to be harmed less. Anyways, I'm just ranting. So as always, you look into these things. Don't take my word for it, ever. But thanks for watching. If you like these, hit the like, subscribe, share. As always, stay vigilant, protect yourself, protect your family, protect your health, and protect your wealth.